the one upside of the situation we find ourselves in now is that fortunately we have a lot of tools available to deal with these challenges. And I've just kind of roughly grouped the video streaming technologies in 4 different categories here: video chat, conferencing, live stream, and on demand. And obviously there's a lot of overlap between them. It's nice that we have so many options, but of course it also presents a problem trying to figure out, okay, what's the right tool for the job? Or even the opposite, that maybe as a company that you chose a tool because it had the right title. Okay, we need a video conferencing solution, we'll grab a video conferencing tool. And then you find out after the fact that maybe it wasn't the best solution for what you were trying to achieve. And this finally brings me to the title of the presentation, the format versus the medium. So in this case, by the medium, I'm talking about the medium or media, the way that the channels that we use to transmit information. So in this case, our video chat, video streaming client solutions, these are all different modern media that we have for transmitting our message, whether that's just a meeting or marketing or advertising or whatever we're trying to convey. And the format is what we're actually trying to convey. And I thought to illustrate this, I'd use an example that we're all familiar with. So imagine if you'd asked somebody about 50 years ago, what's the difference between a TV and a feature film? They would look at you like you were crazy and say, well, it's obvious. TV is what you watch on TV, and then feature film is what you watch in the cinema. And for a while that was true. The media, the TV or the cinema, the thing that you were using to transmit information was tightly interwoven with the format of the thing you were actually watching. But what about now? I don't know about you guys, but I haven't watched broadcast TV in maybe 10 years. And I watch my TV and my feature films on Netflix or Amazon or whatever else. So now that the medium that they're being transmitted on is the same, what's the actual difference between them? And it turns out that when you decouple the media and the format, we find out that actually the different formats that we have for these different storytelling, these different stories we tell, like a series or a feature film or a television film, can be completely decoupled from the media and can be delivered in a variety of different ways. The technology has evolved. And kind of in the same way, these media that we have right now for distributing our information, so video chat, conferencing, so on, each technology has kind of its plus and minuses, and they all kind of lend themselves to different applications. Like, video chat might be really good for ad hoc conversations or interviews, and live streaming might be better for a live concert with 100,000 people watching. But actually, they're completely decoupled. These formats, these things we're trying to do, there's a variety of different ways that we can present them. There's a variety of different channels that we have available to us. And I think the danger is making that association between, okay, I need to do a concert, then I need to use RTMP live streaming or Dash or whatever else. And there's many different examples I could take, but for the sake of time, I've limited myself to one example, which is just about online training. So this is a real example that I had. I was involved in organizing this online training. So it's about 80 participants, 3 different offices. This was during the pandemic, so a lot of them were already in home office. And all this is behind a corporate internet, which means that from their own testing, they found out that video chats or video conferencing really only worked up to about 10 or 12 participants, but that they could use an ECDN to live stream to their internet for up to about 80 people. So these are the restrictions we have. This is the format, which is an online training, so it's interactive. So I want each of you to just think briefly for yourself, how would you organize this? Like, how would you do it with the tools that are available for you? And so, one solution, and possibly what a lot of you are thinking of, is, okay, we want interactive training. We want people to be able to ask questions immediately. So we're going to use video conferencing software. They have this technological restrictions, so we're probably going to have to break this up into like 8 to 10 different sessions. And it's probably going to take us like 2 days to do all this. And that's one solution that would probably work. But if we think a little bit further, we might say, well, half of this training is probably, me talking for about half an hour. So we could break it up and we could do a live stream for everybody, and then still do multiple breakout sessions afterwards. But each of these breakout sessions can be shorter, and so we can probably do this whole thing in 1 day instead of 2. So maybe that's a solution. And what we ended up doing was actually doing the whole training via live stream and just formatting the training to fit for live streaming. And the way we did this was just by using a low latency streaming. Being cognizant of the fact that a lot of people were going to have bad connections for internal live stream, we designed all the slides so they looked good on 360p. I arranged to have an internal comment moderator who could already catch most of the comments and keep people interacting while I was presenting, and just formatted the training itself to create multiple call to action, get people in the habit of writing, and broke it into blocks so that there was space for the Q&A afterwards. And in some ways, this was actually even better than doing it in person. We were able to do it all in one instead of multiple sessions. And it turns out that a lot of people who ordinarily would be afraid to raise their hand in front of their colleagues and look stupid were less afraid to write a comment when somebody else was reading it out. And I'm not even saying this is absolutely the best way to do it, but my point is that be mindful of what you're actually trying to achieve, the format. What is it you want to actually do, and be aware that there are multiple ways of doing this, and that every technology has its strengths and weaknesses. Use the strengths that are available to you, even if that means taking this thing that you used to know as a live on-set event and maybe thinking more flexibly, how can we take advantage of the technology to use the tools we have to do this effectively online?